Alright, this is Steve Jolson. I'm the lead designer on Shadows of Abigail. We're having some technical issues with Camtasia and Fraps and not actually being able to record in-game. Until we get that figured out, we're going to have to just show you what we have in Toolbench and just to kind of show you some of the stuff that we're actually creating. As before from last time, you saw that we could turn these fires on and off with having targets in the background in the midway game booth. So we actually have those triggers working. We also have cannons that auto shoot as the player enters certain areas, like here for instance. We also have we're putting in these, as you can see, we have orange platforms now that we're using to create our platforming. Last week we had some issues with the faculties, wanting to know, or 2 weeks ago, I apologize, wanting to know the identity of our game. And what we've solidified with is that we are a platformer game. We are a platformer, and we're going to make the game feel more 2D. As you can see, we've pulled a lot of the assets towards the 2D track, and we have platforming now that we're going to really focus on and making that platforming fun. And we're hoping in the future to use the bear and the blanket to make that platforming fun. So as you can see, we have a lot of free-floating platforms here, and we actually are not going to have those in game. All the platforms are going to be justified. Like for instance, you have cannons on top of these booths. That's just placeholder for right now. So right now, what the main thing is that we're trying to do is figure out if this gameplay is fun. And like I said, we have cannons that auto shoot in areas. So when they jump in this box, the cannon will auto shoot. These fires can be turned off by targets that are here. They actually don't show up in Gamebryo right now, which is a problem. They only show up once you've turned on the game. So we're creating areas like that. We've actually selected, we actually have 5 of our designers chopping up the whole first track of the carnival. Here we have some vertical gameplay that the player is going to get to do. You see the mushrooms here that we have on the track are actually kind of like Goombas. They're just like peon enemies that are really used to put pressure on the player. So from here we would like to have like a swinging tree, a tree swing, I'm sorry. And the player would have to get on that swing to the next tree, and so on and so forth over here. If they fall, they have the enemies down below them. We also are creating our funhouse area, and it's going to be an interior, which we are building right now with these orange blocks. And this is going to be kind of like Pudge's headquarters, basically. Once the player walks in here, they're going to see all these pictures, these paintings of Pudge. And he's going to basically have drawn on them in funny ways with bright colors, kind of like graffitiing on his own paintings to make him look like a knight or a scientist, or put mustaches and glasses on him. So this is going to have, right now we actually have some physics in the game that's being worked on, so we're going to get to play a lot with physics. But the object here is for the player to navigate throughout this entire funhouse. Until they get to the uppermost room where they're going to fight Pudge, and the object of that fight is to push him into the fireplace using his reaction. We're also creating the initial tutorial area. Here you can see the players are going to be given just different platforming challenges, and then have some more vertical platforming. And that's kind of what we're working on now, is populating the world with all of that. So when we started out making, deciding that we're going to focus on platforms, we didn't want to just be like, well, platforming, that's not an easy, that's an easy answer, but what do different? So what we've actually been able to is go into Unreal and prototype all of our ideas. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this and bring us into that. So here is our Unreal prototype, and the great thing about the Unreal prototype is it's incredibly flexible, and it's basically allowed us to do multiple things. We've actually went into the scripts and modded the game so that the player moves on a 2D track only, and they fire on a 2D track, as you can see. We're actually able to, we have some producers who are very good at, or familiar with Kismet enough to that we can add behaviors to these platforms to make them do certain things. So we can actually prototype any of the things we put into the game. We were able to put in, oh boy, that's exciting. We were able to put in some peon enemies that the player can we can have as pressure. But really, it's just using these static meshes to create any of the platforms that we make in the game. So for instance, when we have some of our vertical gameplay on the trees, we can actually go ahead and make some vertical gameplay using the Unreal platform. And here's a behavior we were able to do, just have an enemy patrol over a gap so that Abigail's going to have to clear them out of the way in order to get going. So as you can see, yeah, here's our vertical gameplay. I want to show you some more of our platforms that we have. So here is an instance of a platform area that we actually put in the game last week, and we're able to emulate and find out if that's fun. And we found out that it was boring, so we've made something more exciting. And even still, now we're making the funhouse. We're actually putting the funhouse into the UDK so that we can see if the funhouse is going to be a good enough time to play. So here we have some swinging platforms that the player that's going to have to navigate on. If you look up here, you'll see some platforms moving back and forth that the player's going to have to try and get onto this ledge while not being knocked back by these. As you can see, they can push her if she gets in front of them. So here is some downwards gameplay. One thing that we want Abigail to have is a parachute. Whoa. And that's going to allow her to kind of navigate the world in these falling areas in a little more at the player's the way the player wants to do it. So yeah, this is what we've been working on. You know, for a couple weeks ago we knew we couldn't wait for the programmers to get jumping into the game, so we decided to go into UDK and make it ourselves. And it's actually proved to be a pretty good tool for us in finding out what's fun. So thank you for this update. Once again, I apologize for the Camtasia issues and not being able to show you what our priorities are for the next week with our schedule and our art updates. But I'm hoping that we can have those next week for you once Camtasia gets figured out. So thank you guys very much and have a great day.